Hey there, friends and neighbors. You're listening to the Disney World's show here on Movie Squad. I'm Joey DeAngelis here with Allison Cola, and we're going to talk about the latest Disney animated feature, Moana. Allison, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great once again. I saw Moana last night. You saw it a couple days ago, and now you and I are both here to discuss the newest Disney movie, the second Disney movie in the year, and the second success for Disney this year, for Disney Animated Studios proper. I suppose that's a spoiler on my thoughts for the movie, that this movie is a success, because it is great. Enjoyed my time with it, and spoiled it in our last video that you enjoyed your time with it, didn't you?
Yes, Moana was just a really, really good time. Now, this is coming from somebody where the last couple movies I had seen in theaters were not that great. I mean, just like thinking about like the year I had seen Magnificent Seven in September, which wasn't terrible, but wasn't great. Girl on a Train wasn't great. It might be my least favorite movie of the year, now that I think of it. And Doctor Strange I liked, but not as much as some people did. And then Moana is the best movie I've seen on the big screen in a while. And it really feels great to have another Disney musical, because we haven't had a Disney musical, I believe, since I don't think we've had one since Frozen. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
No, I don't think we have either.
Because it was Big Hero 6, which was fun.
Disney made fun of the fact that life isn't a cartoon musical in Zootopia, so we haven't had a chance to go back to the Disney roots.
Yeah, I just really loved this. It was a really feel-good movie.
No, I don't think we have seen a return to the Disney musical formula since Frozen. Disney is becoming very self-aware, and we see that a lot with the character of Moana. We might as well just get started into this. Moana as a character is amazing. She's definitely one of the best written girl power characters that have come out this year. We've seen attempts to do that with Ghostbusters. I really am indifferent on the new Ghostbusters movie. I didn't think it was written that funny. I had no problem with the women in it. I just didn't think the script around them was that good.
I will say this about the new Ghostbusters. I liked who they got, and I wish the movie was better, so that way we could get a sequel with them, because I think they're all talented in some way. It's just wasn't a good movie. But I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Moana herself is really an amazing part of this movie, where I guess I have to bring this up alongside, Maui, who's also a great character, played by Dwayne Johnson. And that was my biggest concern with this movie before seeing it was, okay, you have The Rock. Is everything else just gonna not matter, really? I mean, because he's such a big, likable personality that it would almost kind of make everything else seem a bit stale.
Small.
It's a bit small. I think Moana herself is great. You were about to say something.
Yeah, I was going to agree with you, actually, because The Rock is such a big Hollywood name. And this newcomer, please, internet, forgive me. I try to pronounce names correctly. I have such a hard time with the actress who plays Moana. I'm going to do my best. But she holds her own against The Rock, against Dwayne Johnson. She holds her own. She does not take anyone telling her she can't do anything. And she just has this wonderful presence to her voice. And I'm blanking on her name, trying to figure out how to pronounce it. Forgive me. I believe it's pronounced Auli Caravallo.
Yes. I guess.
Princess Moana, if you are out there and you somehow find this video, forgive me, please.
We love you.
And don't send a tidal wave. But it was so enjoyable watching Moana and Maui together. Their chemistry as friends is just so fantastic.
Yeah,
and it was a musical. They both sing very well.
Yes, they worked out quite nicely together. I felt.
I was more than pleased to hear The Rock sing, and hearing Auli. I think I'm going to keep calling her that until someone corrects me. Hearing her sing her song "How Far I'll Go" is going to be the new "Let It Go." I've been listening to it in the car. I've almost started belting it myself, and I almost know all the words already. But for the sake of both of our microphones, I will not be singing it here on this podcast.
Yeah, that was a really solid Disney princess song, because that's that is the typical song you got to have in these movies. The I want song.
Well,
and I thought, considering we've heard so many of them, I thought they did a nice job with that one. We can't play it on the program.
Oh, yeah.
Again, you just gotta kind of listen to it.
Go listen to it. Go watch the movie if you want to hear this song. Just go watch the movie. We'll get into more about the music later, because there's so much in this movie.
There is a lot.
Oh yeah, I loved all the support characters, like Moana's family. Can we just say that Grandma is the best character in this movie and be done with it?
She was a very nice presence in the movie. They really handled her quite nicely.
I love any Disney character that is inspiring yet full of sass at the same time, and that's really all you need to know about Grandma. The mom and dad characters were really good, and I don't consider this a spoiler. They don't die. This is one Disney film where the parents do not die.
Or not just that, but the mom is not dead before the movie starts.
Yes,
because that's the biggest one.
This is a weird break from Disney tradition. I mean, there's always, even Anna and Elsa had theirs lost at sea. Some theories would say otherwise, but they're lost at sea.
Also, fun fact: the actor who plays Chief Tui, Moana's father, is Temuera Morrison, and he is known for playing Jango Fett and the Clone Troopers in the Star Wars prequels.
Oh, even I didn't know that.
He was pretty good. I liked him in the movie.
Very likable. He does have that whole overprotective overbearingness on Moana.
Yeah, and I think we should. Yeah. I think I should mention that it does. The movie does give off a very. It does give off a very Little Mermaid feel with the father.
Mulan.
And Mulan, yes, and Mulan.
And Brave.
Yeah, and Brave. Except no bears.
No bears.
Yes, but we should also mention that this film was co-directed by the same team who did Little Mermaid and Aladdin, so there are a lot of similarities with those films, and I think especially with The Rock's character of Maui made me very much think of the genie, like especially with his song "You're Welcome." It's a very show-stopping kind of song. It's just really upbeat, really happy song, and they really did a nice job with the animation.
The animation
in there.
The visuals, everything.
There is the giant... I just want to get crab for a second.
There is a giant crab. I'm not sure if it's seen in the trailers, but there is a giant crab.
Yeah.
And that crab is interesting. You'll find out when you watch the movie. You'll find out why we are specifically highlighting a crab.
And then you have a pig and a chicken.
Pua and Hey Hey.
And you have some words about these characters before we even started this conversation.
I do? Yes, I love the movie. However, I do have a couple negatives, and those negatives are the animal characters, Pua and Hey Hey. As far as Disney animals go, there have been some really, really entertaining ones. Just in recent memory, we've had Pascal, we've had Maximus, we've had Sven. Those are like three of the most famous ones currently. We've also had Khan, the horse from Mulan. We've had... even Angus had a little character to him. Pooh and Hey Hey in this movie are completely useless. There's an entire sequence that takes place where it's kind of centered around the chicken, but if he had been completely animated out of this film, nothing would have changed. If Pua was not here, nothing would have changed. The only thing that would have changed is Disney would have had one less stuffed animal to sell. Two fewer stuffed animals to sell.
My complaint, it's not really a complaint against this movie specifically. It's more against a complaint that has been, I'd say in a way, kind of plaguing some of the recent Disney movies, and it also kind of connects to Marvel movies. Let's think about some Disney movies and some characters. Maleficent, Gaston, Scar, Jafar. These are memorable, very memorable villain characters. I'd say in the last couple of years with these Disney films, we really haven't had one. It's not necessarily a bad thing always, but it's kind of something I've missed in a lot of these Disney films.
Arguably, we had Hans, but in Hans and Frozen, I'm not a fan of Hans.
You see, that's my big problem. And then the same thing with Zootopia. You know, the villains in those films are not, they don't turn out to be the villains until they reveal themselves in the third act.
The surprise villain has been an interesting new development. I see what I definitely agree with you.
Tangled might still be my favorite of the recent Disney animated films because it's the one that feels the most whole as a Disney. If we're talking about the traditional, Disney musical. But again, this isn't me trying to hate on Moana or anything, because it does a lot of great things. It's just something I've noticed with these recent Disney films. It's also actually a problem with Marvel films too, with their villains.
Yeah, Disney gives us a lot of great heroes. I'm hoping that we'll get a villainous renaissance soon, because Disney knows that their villains are a wonderfully marketable group. They just need more.
They just need more.
They just need more. Holy cow. I was watching this movie and watching the backgrounds a lot, because I kept thinking to myself, if it wasn't for the characters, and this is not a complaint, if it wasn't for the characters, I would have thought that this movie had been shot physically in the South Pacific. The visuals are getting so much better in every Disney movie. The water, the islands, everything is so lush and gorgeous that literally this was a feast for my eyes.
Especially water, because water is very hard as a visual effect, or even in like CG animation, and they did an excellent job with the water, especially with all the neat tricks that the water does and characters getting wet. And because sometimes when you see an older like CG animated movie and a character gets wet, it looks really bad. It doesn't look like a great shot. And then in this, it turns out really well. And another thing that really felt so lifelike were the characters' hair. It's the hair.
Moana has the best hair. The problem is that I have very fuzzy hair. I don't necessarily have the same type of hair that she has, but I can relate to her when she gets her hair wet and it goes slapping her face when she turns around, because I have very long hair. It's very fuzzy. And I like to swim a lot. So I get slapped in the face with my hair a lot. When that happened to Moana, I was like, I feel you, girl. I feel you.
Yeah. So they're really doing well with their animation. I mean, it looks, needless to say, it does look great. And then another visual component that I was kind of briefly mentioning before was with Maui. And Maui has these incredible tattoos, which kind of, in a way, tell his life story. And
Mini Maui.
And Mini Maui, and Mini Maui is a character unto himself. He's always arguing with Maui about doing the right thing. It's just really funny. Yeah, and you see some of it in like the trailers, but the move, you really haven't seen anything, because the movie does a really great deal with that character.
They do. Mini Maui just steals the show. He's so fun to watch, because every time there was like a quiet scene, I would be looking around on Maui's body for Mini Maui and trying to see if he was doing something. I may have to go back for a second viewing, because I'm not sure if I caught much, because there was so much to look at. There was just so much detail to watch for. But Mini Maui, he's so sweet. It's so wonderful. And then you also alluded earlier to the scene with the crab. Yeah, later on, that scene got very visually amazing. I was reminded almost of Friends from the Other Side from Princess and the Frog.
Yes.
During the second half of that scene. Mm-hmm. We're trying to be vague because we don't know if that's spoiler territory or not for some people.
It's hard to talk about some of these movies sometimes, and also especially for me, because what I've come to find with these Disney animated films is that I tend to try to stay as far away from the trailers as possible, and usually I don't do that with movies. But with these Disney animated movies, like I'll see maybe a trailer or two, like with Zootopia or this film, but then I go into it kind of like almost like blind, like just not, just like no expectation, saying, hey, it's a Disney movie, and then just, end up enjoying it more, I think, because I don't know as much. But it's going to be harder for me to discuss if something is spoiler or not, because I'm not as familiar with some of the promotional materials as some people would be.
Yeah, I really only remember a couple of the trailers. There was the one with Maui talking to Moana on the beach, which actually does not end up in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a spoiler. If something doesn't happen in a movie, that's not really a spoiler, is it?
Depends who you talk to, but it's,
I suppose,
whatever. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, just visually, I think we can agree it's just one of the most impressive films, and I also really like it. Like the third act of this movie, because it's like a giant like battle, like action, rescue, kind of sort of rescue scene in a sense, like saving the day type of deal. But it was just a lot of fun, and also we were mentioning earlier the scene with Hey Hey, the chicken, with like those little pirate like things, little coconut.
The Kakamora.
Yes, that was a lot of fun to watch, because you don't get like old-fashioned like kind of action scenes really in Hollywood films anymore. Everything is just, and again, this is a CGI movie too, but I mean, like most things you see is like a CGI like superhero battle, or in case of the recent film, a CGI wizard battle, But this was just like a fun almost
spoiler alert for an upcoming video, by the way.
Yes, almost a swashbuckling kind of action scene, which I really enjoyed.
Aside from Hey Hey, I was really entertained during that scene, the Kakamora scene.
Yes, that was a very, very entertaining sequence. Not much else I don't think we really say much else about the visuals, because it just looks, it's just a great looking movie. I saw it in 2D, and it looks fantastic. I'm sure the 3D would be all right, but 2D would be fine, I'd say.
The only thing I would have to say for the visuals, I want to save for the spoiler discussion that we're going to do at the end, because the very end of the movie reminded me of something from another Disney movie that if I discussed here would spoil it. So, moving on for now, Lin-Manuel-Miranda, you are a beautiful human being. I love your music. Thank you. Yeah. And I'm not a humongous... I know his work from Hamilton. I'm not the biggest fan of Hamilton. Don't kill me. I didn't attach to it as much as other people did. I think it's okay. It's not my favorite. But this soundtrack, I've already alluded to it. I've been listening to it over and over and over again from just last night.
Yeah, I was actually listening to a few bits of Hamilton myself before this discussion, and I think what Lin-Manuel-Miranda really adds to this film is like a sense of personality. Especially with the "You're Welcome" song, which I think he was like listening to these songs. I just think he was a perfect choice to do this, and you do hear his voice, I believe, in the movie during one of the songs. It's
We Know the Way.
We Know the Way. Yes. He is credited.
That's my personal favorite.
That was one song I remember from the trailers, and that's a particular favorite of mine.
That's an incredible song. I love it.
Musically, it's definitely, I think it's really one of their most solid ones. It's hard to talk about music, and you kind of just got to
not have it playing.
You gotta listen to it. We don't want to get in trouble for copyright, but. Yeah, it's great.
Again, we're telling you to go see the movie. So go see the movie, buy the soundtrack. You have to trust us at this point.
Yeah, I just think listening to it was just like, yep, I know as soon as I get out of this movie, I'm going to put this on my Disney Spotify playlist. So
yes.
That's definitely... It's just good soundtrack. I think even just some of the music in between the songs, just overall, it has a good sound to it, and it's good.
It is a fantastic musical. And Dwayne The Rock Johnson sings. Do we really need to say anything else? And he sings well.
I think, it was a perfect pairing of actor and song. Really, it was just like because I remember watching, I think it was a Good Morning America or something. Like Lin-Manuel-Miranda was like, if you heard anyone else sing this song, you wouldn't buy it. And I probably have to agree with him, because nobody projects confidence and charm more than The Rock, at least in terms of big box office actors do.
Oh yes, it was. I just enjoyed listening to it, and not even just the musical songs. Just listening to the score is fantastic. I've kind of had a weakness for Polynesian style music since my days as a wee lass listening to the Tiki Room at Disneyland. It just put an interest in me for this style of music, and just listening to the background music, I can picture myself just sitting on a beach somewhere in the South Pacific, watching the waves, and maybe seeing a couple hula dancers off in the distance, and just being in Moana's village. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, the music goes very well with what you see on screen, and that's always very nice. Trying to think. Yeah, so let's get on to spoilers.
So if you don't want to hear spoilers from here, long story short, go see the movie. If you have seen the movie and just want to know our continued thoughts, you're good to go.
Before we get into spoiler discussion, check out our other videos on the channel. This is in case you duck out now. And
yes.
we'll have a Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them discussion posted sometime this weekend. Spoilers.
Holy hell, that battle.
Which one? With the I'm going to call them the coconuts. Or the coconuts?
The Kakamora coconuts.
The coconuts, or are you talking about the end with the giant fire beast that turned into Gaia?
The lava monster. You say fire beast that turned into Gaia. I saw the Firebird versus the Spirit of Earth from Fantasia 2000.
Yes, you could definitely see that.
That's what I was discussing earlier, that I could see in between, when I was discussing earlier about the visuals. The very end sequence happening is Moana has to return the heart of Tahiti. I think that's the pronunciation. It sounds like Tahiti.
It looks like a green Jolly Rancher, but anyway.
It's a very important stone. It's Moana's Infinity Stone. She has to return it from whence it came to this mother island in order to restore life to her world, to the islands, because her world is dying. And it's all Maui's fault that it's gone. He tried to steal the heart stone. That's what I'm going to call it, because I can't remember her name.
Right.
He tried to steal the heart stone in order to please humanity. He's a demigod trying to earn affection and please humanity. So he stole this stone, incidentally condemning all of Islander kind to a slow but painful starvation death.
Yeah.
When you put it that way, it's a lot darker, isn't it?
No, but it's funny to think about it like that, because remember when the movie started with like this prologue, the prologue of the story of Maui, and I go, wow, this is taking Maui in a direction that I really wasn't expecting, because you think of The Rock and you just think The Rock is just kind of a superhero, and then you listen to the story and it's like, wow, the Rock really screwed up here.
Yeah. So at the very end, they're trying to restore the islands, and basically Maui kind of blows off Moana for a while. Like they go for a first attack, and it does not work. So Moana tries to brave the battle on her own after some words of wisdom from Spirit Grandma. That scene made me cry. We're going to start a new drinking game here on Disney World. Is take a shot every time Allison says she cries.
I'd be dead.
Joey would be dead, especially since he's the one who watches a lot of these movies with me.
The grandmother
Spirit
Stingray.
Grandma His spirit grandma is so beautiful. I love her. And she encourages Moana to, hey, Maui's gone. Do it anyway. You can do this. You're the one that the ocean chose. So she goes off to the island where this lava monster is inhabiting. And it was kind of predictable that Maui would come back. It's a Disney movie. Maui's not just going to up and abandon Moana. That's one thing. Another small complaint that I couldn't talk about is that the movie's kind of predictable. You can take guesses exactly where it's going to go, but it executes it so well that you kind of forgive it.
Yeah, that's a lot of that's quite a few Disney movies, or even some children's films or family films anyway. But again, like we said, as long as they're really well done, you almost don't care.
Yeah, I mean, the movie is too much fun to get annoyed by such a thing like a predictable plot. If you're going to have fun with it, go for it. They go all out for having fun.
Like, I'll say this much. I was in a screening, and it was mostly adults at my screening of Moana, Tuesday night screening, and they all had a really good time with it. So, you know, I think that just goes to show you, you know, they've probably seen so many of these Disney movies, but as long as as long as it does something different and is entertaining, you kind of forgive things.
Yes. And then when the lava monster turns out to be this island goddess that is the one who is needed to restore the island's balance, I didn't actually see that twist coming. Lately, all the Disney films have been having a twist. I didn't see that one coming until they reveal it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a thing. I didn't see that twist coming. Oddly enough, for all the predictability this movie has, I didn't see that twist coming.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting twist. Other things that I was just confused about, I guess, and there was the water in the movie, and the water was a fun character, but I feel like the water was just there, only did specific things. Like I don't feel ever explained, or like we never really got a sense of what the water could do. Really, it just feels like, you know, there could be situations where the water is actually really useful, but it's not.
I feel like the water should have replaced Hey and Pua as a fully fledged character, just kind of like the spirit of the ocean. Or perhaps it could have played more into the twist with Grandma and the stingray.
Maybe, but I did like the water as sort of a magic carpet of Moana, you know, as a non-speaking character that, you know, just kind of that does some gags. Like, this movie has its own version of Dormammu I've come to bargain. Like, Maui tries to throw Moana off, Moana comes back. And then,
somebody make that meme and please share it to our Facebook page
Maui,
at Movies,
I've
please.
bargained.
Speaking actually of the magic carpet, there are a couple Disney cameos in this movie, and if you keep your eye out, you can watch for them. There's a really obvious Sven cameo where Maui is trying to transform into different animals. He's trying to regain his powers. One of the animals he turns into is a very familiar-looking reindeer.
Yes.
Did you catch that, Joey?
I did catch that.
And then I caught this one. During Moana's song, How Far I'll Go, as she's walking through the village, keep an eye out if you see a couple of villagers holding out or spreading out a rug, because that rug bears an odd similarity to the carpet from Aladdin, although instead of tigers in the corner, I noticed pigs. So it's a different themed carpet, but the similarity is too perfect to ignore.
But by different, Allison means
and I'm still
useless.
calling it a cameo. I'm still calling it a cameo of carpet in Moana. So keep an eye out for those little Easter eggs. I'm sure more will come out as more and more people see the film.
Yeah, I mean, and we were kind of talking about the self-referential like Disney moments. There's a kind of a moment where Maui is kind of references, like, you know, like a princess with her like sidekick.
If you wear a dress and you have an animal sidekick, you're a Disney princess.
Yeah.
The self-referential gags are funny. Disney's Deadpool is showing, essentially. I would love for Maui to become Disney's Deadpool. You can see
that
it.
would be interesting.
I guess we really don't have too much more to say, except this is a gorgeous movie that needs to be seen. It's a great way to spend time with your family for the holiday weekend. It's almost over, but if you hurry now, you can still see it. Definitely keep your eye out for this movie. Disney did it again.
Disney definitely has done it again. You know, they are. I think Disney. I mean, with a few exceptions this year, Disney has really proven that they put out movies that people want to see. You know, people make fun of Disney for like remaking some of their classics and doing the same sort of formula, but it's like, but you know what? It works, and Moana's definitely that case. And so if you enjoyed Zootopia for being different, Moana is very much like the typical Disney film. But I feel like with the way some movies have gone and the way certain events have happened in real life, and you just need a good like picker-upper, Moana's definitely that film.
It's a feel-good movie of this Thanksgiving season. I'm thankful I saw this movie, and we haven't really come up with a rating system, but I'm probably just going to go on ahead and give this a 9 out of 10. Again, just because I think Pua and Heihei are useless, and there are a few pacing, not issues, but there are some long scenes that take place at sea, and it makes the movie feel longer than it really is. Aside from that, I had way too much fun to complain about this movie at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same boat. It's just like anything that I complain about.
You're very punny, Joey.
It doesn't matter. I try.
Boy, puns.
Puns. Punny world. So Moana's good. We'll see it. I just came out of Fantastic Beasts, and if your question, like, I don't feel like that's really a movie for kids. So if you need a movie for kids, you need a movie to take your kids, go see Moana.
Definitely go see Moana. Joey, thank you so much for joining me on this movie discussion for Disney Worlds.
Oh, of course.
I don't think, it's always fun to discuss movies with other Disney fans because then you find out more about what you like about them. And sharing these thoughts with you guys is so much fun. I want to pose a question to you guys out there. Who do you think was the sassiest character in Moana? The ocean, Grandma, or Minnie Maui? If you want to leave your comment down below with your pick, we may even figure out who wins in a future episode. So leave your comment down below. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out Disney Worlds on Facebook. Also, we have the new Movie Squad proper page on Facebook.
Yes, we do.
Check out there for all of our updates.
We got to put that as a link. We're going to put that as a link in the description below of our other videos. We have 2 other Disney Worlds videos, including a discussion Allison and I had about the new Beauty and the Beast film, and a video I made about Avatar Land. So thank you so much, guys, for listening, and we'll see you next time on Movie Squad.
Maui out.